Hey YouTube, it's jurracmaster, and this is a Jurrac deck update. Very few changes in this video, so I'm just going to get right to it. 3 Guaiba, 2 Velo, 3 Dino, 2 Aolo, 1 Terra, 2 Storico, 1 Golem, 2 Hera, and 1 Kinkabayo. I find this lineup works very well, so for monsters, and rarely change that except maybe add 1 to add another Velo, but that is the only change I ever really make, unless I'm running a variant, in which case I make a lot of changes. So I have 3 Fossil Dig, 3 Forbidden Lance, 2 Burden, 1 Book, 1 Mind Control, 1 Reborn, 1 Dark Hole, and 1 Giant Trunade. Those are the spells. For traps, I have Solemn Judgment, 2 Solemn Warning, 1 Mirror Force, 2 Deep Prison, Torrential, 2 Trap Stun, and 1 Oppression. So the only change to the main deck was I took out 1 Gozen Match to put in the Oppression. Oppression just works very well in this deck, especially in the main deck. And I decided to stop siding it because it doesn't stop this. I don't know if it stops this or not. I believe it doesn't. I've come across the ruling that it shouldn't. I know for a fact that it does not stop that. So I'm going to double check with this ruling today if I can. And I don't think it conflicts, but I think it gets stopped by skill drain on Guaiba, but I can't be sure. It does conflict with the Kinkabayo, but then again so did Gozen Match, so you just have to watch that. And mainly that's it. So, I mean, it stops other things, but it's not as big a deal. Just don't flip it if you don't want to. It's the main change right there. So I'll get on to the extra deck, which also has a change. So, I'm running 2 Giganoto, 1 Meteor, and 1 Velfido. It's my typical Jurrac lineup for the extra deck. Then I've changed 1 of the Grenosaurus to 1 Utopia, so I'm also running Grenosaurus. Those are the exceeds for the deck. Mainly, this is in here because I'm not running Gozen Match anymore, and the other thing being that I never really go into Grenosaurus. I do very, very rarely, only when I absolutely have to. So that's why Utopia is in here, because Utopia does not conflict with Gozen Match or Gozen Match or Solidarity anymore, because I've now replaced those with Burdens and Oppression. I've been going back and forth on whether or not to main this still, and if I don't, I will. The change that I would make is Oppression to Velo. So that would be the change I'd make. If you guys don't like maining Oppression, I would main Velo in the monster lineup instead. The 3rd Velo can be helpful, but I think the Oppression is a nice start. So, I have Utopia in here now. And continuing, I have 1 Trishula, 1 Stardust, 1 Scrap Dragon, 1 Black Rose, 1 Ancient Fairy, 1 Bryonic, 1 Gaianite, 1 Cataster, and 1 Magical Android. So there was only really 1 change to the extra deck. There's 1 change in each extra deck, main deck, and side deck, so that's why I'm doing them all. So for the side deck, I'm still running 2 Skill Drain, 2 goes in match, and 2 rivalry. Traps are still the same, well, except the oppression is gone. For spells, 2 noblemen of extermination, 2 noblemen of crossout, 2 system downs. So I don't believe I've changed that either. And then on to the monsters, the 2 battle faders, and the change really, the effect veiler is now in there instead of the oppression, which had to come out. So this is the deck, the way I'm going to run it today at locals. Either that or I switch the oppression to a velo. I haven't decided on what I'm going to do with that yet. So just trying to update my deck every time I make a change or two, or a significant change or anything to it, so that you guys know what I'm running and how I'm doing with it. I'll try to post how I do today, and what I do well against, what I do poorly against, what cards hurt. I might update it again later. I know quickly update it again on the same weekend would kind of be weird and stuff, but I wanted you guys to see the changes that I make weekly and everything based on what I do well against and what I do bad against, because I think that is a really important part of making your deck, is constantly changing it to fit how you play and what you play against and your good and bad matchups, because I think that is probably the most important part of making a deck, is continuing to change it when you need to. So I want you guys to see a little bit of my process of changing cards up. The goes in match came out mainly because as good as it is to have dual 1, if it's good, I don't like facing people that it doesn't work against, because then it's a dead card. That's never really been a problem, but I figured since oppression doesn't hurt this deck any more than the goes in match would, I thought I'd take out the goes in match and put in the oppression and see how it works. And if I don't like it, I'll probably switch to velo, because it's a little more consistent than the goes in match main deck. But who knows, I might go back to the goes in match. I'll post more about this later, after my locals, and when I know a little bit more about what I want to do. So thanks for watching, YouTube, and if you liked the video, can you just take a second to give it a thumbs up? Doesn't really take you much time, and doesn't really make that much of a difference for you, but it makes a big difference for me, so I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.